What if you stumbled upon the Holy Grail, right in the heart of medieval Europe? Imagine it, you, an ordinary traveler or maybe a wandering soldier, brushing the dust off an ancient chalice glowing faintly under the flicker of a torch. Before we dive into this wild scenario, take just a few seconds to smash that like button. Let me know in the comments where you are watching from, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our next crazy historical what if. Now, are you ready? Because this journey is going to be dangerous, mysterious, and maybe even a little funny along the way. Picture yourself surrounded by towering castles, knights clanking in armor, and the constant watchful eyes of the church. In this world, people believed miracles could change everything. And you just found the most legendary artifact of all time. The question is, what would you do with it? Hide it, risk your life by revealing it, or try to use its powers for yourself? Tonight, we are stepping into that alternate reality, where your choices might decide the fate of kingdoms, the future of religion, and even your own survival. To truly imagine what it would mean to find the Holy Grail, you first need to step into the medieval world. Europe at that time was not the romantic land of fairy tales, but a brutal and unforgiving place. Streets were filled with mud, disease spread easily, and most people lived short and harsh lives. Yet, faith was everything. The church dominated daily existence, from the way you worked to the way you prayed, and its power stretched across kingdoms. Knights rode through the countryside with clanking armor. Kings plotted to expand their influence, and peasants struggled to survive another winter. Superstition and belief in miracles were not just stories. They were survival. If someone claimed to see a holy relic, entire towns would gather, hoping to touch it for healing or salvation. Imagine yourself here, knowing that any sign of divine power could change your life forever. Now, drop the Holy Grail into this world. A single chalice that people believed could grant eternal life or divine favor would be more valuable than gold, armies, or even thrones. You would not just be holding a cup, you would be holding the key to absolute power in an age where religion shaped destiny itself. Picture this: you wander through a ruined monastery, the air thick with dust and silence, broken only by the faint echo of dripping water. As you move deeper inside, your torchlight flickers across broken statues, cracked stone walls, and torn pages of forgotten scriptures. Then, hidden behind a collapsed altar, you see it, a chalice unlike any other, shimmering faintly as though it holds a light of its own. You reach out, your hands trembling. The moment your fingers touch the cool surface, a strange sensation rushes through your body. Is it warmth, or fear, or something far beyond human understanding? In medieval Europe, people believed objects like this could heal the sick, bless armies, or even grant eternal life. And now it is in your hands. But here's the question: what do you do next? Do you hide it, knowing that kings, popes, and knights would kill to possess it? Do you dare to show it to the world, risking that the church might brand you a heretic or a thief? Or do you attempt to use it for yourself, even without knowing if its power is divine miracle or dangerous illusion? The Grail does not just test your faith, it tests your courage, your greed, and your survival. Holding it is not just a discovery, it is a decision that could change everything. The moment word spreads that you have the Holy Grail, your life is no longer your own. Kings hear whispers of a cup that can secure their dynasty forever. Knights march with swords drawn, ready to kill for its glory. And the church, it cannot allow a relic of such power to rest in the hands of a common wanderer. You are no longer just you are now the center of a storm. Imagine soldiers surrounding your village at dawn, banners waving, demanding you hand over the Grail. Picture priests declaring that God himself entrusted it not to you, but to the church. Everyone wants it, and they are all convinced they deserve it more than you. Your neighbors might betray you, your friends might turn against you, and strangers might hunt you across kingdoms. And yet, the Grail tempts you. What if you use it? What if it really heals wounds, grants victory, or gives eternal life? With it, you could end plagues, crown yourself king, or rewrite history. But here's the catch: power this great never comes without a price. Every sip could spark wars. Every miracle could inspire bloodshed. Holding the Grail does not just give you choices, it gives you enemies, and they will stop at nothing. So here's the real question. If the Grail promised you everything, would you risk losing everything else to keep it? Now let us step away from kings and battles for a moment and think about the Grail through another lens, science. If the Holy Grail could heal wounds, cure diseases, or even grant immortality, how could that possibly work? In medieval Europe, no one had the language of biology or chemistry. So anything beyond their understanding was seen as divine. But what if there was something more? Maybe the Grail was made of a rare material, silver or gold with natural antimicrobial properties, something that could actually kill harmful bacteria. Or perhaps it once carried wine infused with herbs, plants, or compounds we now know contain antioxidants. Imagine peasants drinking from it and suddenly feeling stronger, healthier, even miraculously cured. To them, it was proof of God's hand. To us, it might look like an ancient form of medicine. But let us take it further. What if the Grail was not just a cup but a vessel of knowledge, some forgotten technology, maybe even something extraterrestrial if you want to go down the rabbit hole? After all, legends say it glowed with its own light. Was that symbolic, or could it hint at something far stranger? Here's the funny part. If you really did live forever by drinking from the Grail, you would probably end up broke by year 500. Immortality sounds exciting until you realize you would have to keep paying rent for centuries. Sure, you would see the Renaissance, the discovery of America, the moon landing, and maybe even the invention of TikTok. But imagine explaining to your landlord that you have been alive since the Crusades. So, if immortality was truly on the table, would it be a gift or the worst curse imaginable? Now imagine the Holy Grail does not stay hidden. News spreads, and suddenly every kingdom in Europe wants it. The Crusades, already brutal wars over faith and holy lands, would explode with new intensity. Whoever held the Grail could claim God's direct blessing, and that would make armies march, kings kneel, and nations rise or fall. For the Church, the Grail would be the ultimate proof of divine authority. If they controlled it, their grip on Europe would become absolute. Questioning the Church would be impossible. After all, how do you argue with the artifact that supposedly carries the blood of Christ? But if someone outside the Church held it, the balance of power could shatter. You might see rival religions, rebellions, or even entire kingdoms breaking away. Think about ordinary people. Pilgrims would travel across continents just for a glimpse. Villages might erupt into chaos if rumors spread that the Grail was nearby. Markets would collapse, economies would twist, and all because everyone would want to trade, fight, or die for a chance at eternal life. And here's where it gets messy. Power always creates corruption. Imagine a greedy king using the Grail to justify conquest, or a false prophet using it to manipulate thousands. Maybe even entire wars fought not for land, but for a single cup. In the end, the Grail would not bring peace. It would light a fire under Europe that might never burn out. So the question is, if you lived then, would you trust any ruler or priest with the Grail, or would you rather it stayed lost forever? The Holy Grail did not vanish from history. It became legend. Even if no one truly found it, the idea of the Grail shaped stories, faith, and imagination for centuries. In medieval literature, it was not just a relic. It was the ultimate quest. Knights of King Arthur rode across Britain searching for it, not just to gain power, but to prove purity, courage, and faith. The Grail became more than an object. It became a mirror of human desire. But why did the legend endure? Because people needed it to. The Grail symbolized hope in a world of suffering, a promise that somewhere out there was a cure for pain, a light in the darkness. And every culture loves the idea of a treasure that is not just wealth, but meaning itself. From epic poems to modern movies like Indiana Jones and Monty Python, the Grail lives on, reminding us that sometimes the search matters more than the finding. Historically, relics like bones of saints, fragments of the true cross, or drops of Christ's blood were fiercely contested across Europe. They gave power to churches, drew pilgrims, and inspired wars. So even if the Grail was never real, the obsession with it reflects something very real. Our endless need to believe that somewhere there is a key to transcendence. And maybe that is the truth. The Grail was never about the cup itself, but about the people who longed for it. A story that outlived empires, shaped kingdoms, and still makes us wonder today, if it existed, would it save us or destroy us? So here we are at the end of this journey. You have held the Grail, faced kings, popes, and armies, wrestled with science, faith, and temptation. And now, the biggest question remains, was it worth it? The Holy Grail has always been more than just a cup. It is a symbol of power, hope, and danger all wrapped into one. In medieval Europe, it could have reshaped kingdoms, fueled endless wars, or inspired miracles that changed history forever. But maybe its real power lies in what it makes us imagine. Because every time we wonder about the Grail, we are really asking something about ourselves. What would we sacrifice for power, for faith, or for the chance to live forever? So, if you truly had the Grail in your hands, would you use it, hide it, or destroy it? Thank you so much for watching this video and going on this wild adventure with me. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Grail should stay lost? Or do you believe it could have saved humanity? And tell me, what if scenario should we explore next?